The following program is rated D for dumb.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Pat.
M. One of your fans.
Yes.
Avid listener.
Thank you.
Dave, I'd like to see you do a show prior to the election.
Yes.
And give us your thoughts on everything that's going on with Biden and Trump. I think it'd be an interesting show. Should generate a lot of comments. You got a unique take, and I know it's not a political show.
It's not.
But it'd be nice to hear what you have to say prior to the election.
Okay.
Try to get us a show out on Sunday or Monday.
It's Monday.
To help us generate some comments. Be interesting.
I'll try it.
As always, Dave, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate the call on Google Voice, which is 347-746-3862. That is 3477, the letter I, the letter M, dumb. Call. Leave a message like Pat does, and I just might play it on the air if you keep it clean, free of profanity, and under about 60 seconds or less. I'll play it on the show. All right. Let's do it. This is going to be great. I'm excited. It is election night, and I'm doing a pre-election results show, and then hopefully more.
9 o'clock, I'm bored to death. Smoke so much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the broody kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah, I'm gone for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
All right. Thank you, Alex Exum, A-L-E-X, E-X-U-M. That's the guy whose voice you just heard. And you can check him out at alexexum.com. You guys want to go for a drive? All right, sounds good. Let's go for a drive. Let's dumb it down. It's election night, November 3rd, 2020. I am a podcaster living in New York State. I'm a truck driver. I do my podcast, Dumbing It Down with Dave. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all, also known as the fastest podcast on earth. Is it known for that? No, I know it as that. I'm the only one that knows it as that. If you go out in the street and you poll a billion people, one person, if you happen to poll me, will go, hey, what is this show known as? It's known as the fastest podcast on earth because I'm doing it. I often do it in my Kia Rio on the New York State Thruway on my way to and from work. And sometimes I do it, which is I'm doing it now, in my Dodge Care, C-A-R-E, my Dodge Caravan. And I'm also on my way to work on the New York State Thruway. Right now, I'm on a road called Route 212. And I just left my house. I got a little bit of sleep today because I work nights. I had a busy day. I have about 2 or 3 podcasts worth of shows to talk about, but I can't because I have to stay on track, which is often very difficult for me, and do a podcast about the election that is happening right now. The early election, the early votes have been coming in for the last week or two, which is, and the numbers have been record numbers, left and right. Everybody. I think it's, I don't know, the last I heard was like 95 million pre-election results. Ballots have been cast. I don't know how many will be tossed out. There's so many different ways of discussing this election. So many different ways. By the way, it's 4:10 p.m. I always make that very clear. For those of you who are new to the show, and this show is out there, I think I'm going to title it Pre-Election 2020, because I'm going to do another show, of course, post-election, but that's going to have to wait until all the results are in. So I'm not going to do a show today on Tuesday evening on the way to work and then do the next show tomorrow, because I don't know if we're going to know the winner by tomorrow. I don't know that. None of us know that. I don't think the president knows that. I don't think his candidate, opposition knows that nobody knows what's going to happen, and will there be any sort of peaceful acceptance of the results. We are totally in uncharted territory, as far as I know. I'm not a historian. I have friends that are, and if I was more prepared, I would have them standing by and talking about other elections that we had that may or may not have been, contested. Most of us remember Bush versus Gore, right? It was the younger Bush, the second Bush, who beat Gore with the hanging chads. So I don't know if we have chads anymore. I don't know if we even improved on that. I know I've done shows where I talk about how come the United States, with all its technology, especially supposedly the Silicon Valley, technologists that have, the big tech companies that are suppressing information because it doesn't go along with their political views. Whether that is true or not, I'm not taking a side right now. I'm saying for the sake of argument, it's interesting that you have your Google, you have your Facebook, you have all these, and by the way, there's so many more companies we don't even know about. I happen to, whatever. I don't happen to know anything you don't know. I just happen to know because I have a friend or two that has went to college, came out and got these jobs, and there are a lot of tech companies. We only know as generically or whatever, the 4 or 5 biggest ones, and the cable company, the news, the for-profit news stations only tell you about the 4 or 5 because that's what's digestible. It's digestible. News is always put out to be digestible. Whatever the news is, they're only going to go so far on the Richter scale, right? They're only going to shake it up so far. And then they're going to pull back because, they like to add just 0.001 every year, a little bit more. So, but they only can, they feel like we can only take so much information. And they control the information. Anyway, this show is not about news and how they control it. Not really. Not this particular episode. This particular episode, I'm trying to stay on track and talk about the election that is happening right now in the United States. So I might have already gone down a rabbit trail or two, and I feel like I'm rushing. I feel like I'm highly energized because I really want to do a great show here. I have a listener, Pat, left a Google Mail message, a voicemail, which I'm very excited about because, hey, listen, I put it out there because I like to engage with you. I don't do a live show. This is as live as it gets. I play the message, and by the way, one day I'll tell you how difficult it was just to get that particular download of his message onto my phone, my iPhone 6S. If for some reason this particular message was way more difficult to download than all my other Google Voice messages before. I don't know why, but all of a sudden my phone was like, no, I will not make this easy for you. You can't have this button. I'm like, where's my button? No, you can't have it. But I need it. I gotta go to work. So I just was sitting on my driveway. Well, I guess I'm telling you now anyway, because I said I was going to tell you one day, so I'm telling you now. I was sitting on my driveway for 10 minutes, ready to put the caravan in gear, and it wouldn't take it. I mean, it would take the gear, but I couldn't leave because the Spreaker recording app wouldn't take the download because it wouldn't give me the button. It was so crazy. I never got the button, so I had to circumvent the technology. Which is, again, it sort of plays into the whole thing of this was a message left on Google Voice. This show's never going to get out to the public. I just realized that. I got to stop the show and I'm going to do a show with more cartoon characters. I need to do a show on TV. Who's creepier, the Munsters or Addams Family? All right, there we go. I just changed the whole thing of the show. That'll be the next show. Well, that'll come up eventually. Whatever. Apparently, people are enjoying the comparisons. But there are shows for that, so I don't need to do that. But it's interesting that Pat left a message on my Google voicemail. Everybody knows about Google Voice. If you don't, there's a thing called Google Voice. Then you can set it up. It's free, and people call and leave you a voicemail. It's like an alternative. I don't know why else. I only use it because I'm a podcaster. I don't know why anybody else would use it, but I'm sure there's great applications. There's great reasons to use it. But it's interesting, on this particular voicemail, Pat mentions the election, and he mentions the idea of me doing a show, and all of the sudden, or is it all of a sudden? My wife is very particular about this, and it doesn't matter if I'm saying it wrong. I apologize to all the English majors out there, to all the English police, the English language police. My apologies. But all of a sudden, it doesn't work. I can't download his voicemail onto the Spreaker recording app. But by the way, I tested it, and I went to another message left by Pat talking about Scooby and Shaggy Doo, whatever, which is the show prior to this, episode 266, I think it is. This is episode 267. And the button was there. Same Google Voice, same caller, 2 different topics. One cartoon, one political. Cartoon voicemail, no problem. Everything is the same. Cartoon voicemail, no problem. The button is there. I can send the voicemail straight to Spreaker Recording Studio, and it goes in my drafts. And then when I do the show, I move the draft up to a particular button, and bammo, I play it. Like I played all the voices of Harold. I experimented for 10 minutes in my driveway trying to figure out how to make this work. A lot of podcasters like to complain on air because they think it's funny. You know, oh, I nearly killed myself to do the show. Oh, it's so difficult. Listen, it's all buttons. It's all technology. But I sat there for 10 minutes like, I got to get to work. I got to go to work, which is a whole nother story because things have changed at work. For anybody who listened to episode 266 or 265, things have changed at work. Everything is, I can, but I can't wait to get to work and find out how they're going to solve this problem. New York State, Mario Cuomo, the governor, and the New York State Thruway Authority have totally screwed up the economy and the trucking industry in New York State. I was going to say just the Albany Capital District area, but they've screwed it up for everybody in New York State. Anyway, staying on track, it is interesting. I almost was going to poo-poo it and not make a big deal of it, but as I'm talking about it, I go, no, that is something. That is interesting. And that's why I joke this show is never going to get out there. Nobody's ever going to hear the show. Something horrible will happen. Not to the world, not to the planet, but something will happen to the show, or there'll be some sort of limiter because they already know that this is an election show. It's not a Scooby and Shaggy. Maybe I should have just somehow, like the Mafia used to do, I think in The Sopranos, they used to say, hey, I got to come over and pick up those shirts. I'm doing a really bad, stereotypical Brooklyn, maybe Italian voice. Hey, I got to pick up the shirts. You coming to pick up those shirts? Yeah. How many shirts you need? About a dozen. Just a dozen? All right, a dozen, a gross. All right, a dozen, yeah. What size shirts do you need? 1 ounce shirts, 2 ounce shirts. Why are you talking about shirts in ounces? Well, because that was all code. They used to talk on them, they knew they were being bugged, so they talk in code. So from now on, folks, we need to talk in code. So this way, I can get messages from Google Voice onto my Spreaker Recording Studio app. I don't know, whatever. We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to have a Zoom meeting. Zoom's not attached. Are they attached to Google? We'll have to somehow use some sort of thing. Or you're probably relying on me. I'll put it out there. I'll have to go find some Google Voice whisperer and say, hey, man, you got to help me out. My listeners are calling in and messages are being diverted. I can't play them on my show. All right, again, for the people who are not regular listeners and everybody else going, get to it. You're 12 minutes into the show. You haven't said a thing. Well, I think I've said a lot. It is interesting. I did it in my driveway. 2 messages, totally different, same caller, same app. One works, one doesn't. Anyway, so here we go. The election, right? So did I thank Linda for the AI voice at the beginning of the show for Harry? Thank you, Linda. Awesome Insanity Surfers. This year she's doing Crash Dystopia. It's a drama, sci-fi drama, post-apocalyptic sci-fi drama. You can find it here on Spreaker. Awesome Insanity Surfers. Big smiley face is the artwork. She's been very consistent with that smiley face. She does not change it. She knows how to market her show. And I thanked Alex Exum. And I thank Hal and Philly for that great song, Going for a Drive. You can go to bandcamp.com and you can buy the full-length version of that song. What a great gift it would be, not only for Hal, it'd be a great gift for your friends and family with the holidays coming up. The great song, Going for a Drive. Okay. I have nothing to sell, and Pat has nothing to sell. Not right now, but in the days to come, we'll come up with something. We'll sell it. Okay. The election. So, and by the way, and it's not by the way. This is part of my answer. Let me just click out of this. Let me go to the Spreaker app, and I responded to Pat privately that I already did a show about this because I got this message from Pat. I think it was on Sunday night. Could have been Saturday. I'm not really sure. And yeah, here it is. What number is this? Let me see. That's 250, 249, 248. Episode 248. So I responded to Pat. Hey, Pat, by the way, because I really could not do a show Sunday. I already did another show, and I had just gotten home Sunday morning. After a 4-day work week and whatever. I just exhausted. So I did a show Sunday. I saw the message from Pat. I couldn't do the show Sunday afternoon or Sunday night. I was just done. I was toast. And I wasn't really sure I was going to do one now. But I had a decent enough day, and I got a decent enough sleep. And it is a good idea to do an election day show. But I did do one, and that was, episode 248. If you want to hear, Biden, it's called Biden is going to lose huge. News at 11, a pragmatic prediction. And I talk about, as pragmatically as I can, why I thought Biden was and is going to lose huge. Big. Not just 3%, 5%. I think it's going to be like 5 to 10%. Right now, that is still my prediction, that Trump will win by 5 to 10%. That is a pretty bold comment. I don't think I've heard that from anybody, that he's going to win big. Now, by the way, it's not like I'm Jimmy the Greek, if anybody remembers Jimmy the Greek from CBS Football. And it's not like I'm an odds maker. I'm not that octopus that predicts presidential elections or World Cup winners. That brilliant octopus. That scholarly octopus that they drop into a tank of water or something, and the octopus floats in one direction. This is the World Cup winner. And if it floats in the other direction, if it lands on something, or if it spits out a certain color. No, I'm not nearly as accurate as the scholarly Ivy League, Harvard graduated octopus that they use to predict the World Cup. No, I'm just a truck driver, middle-aged, balding, legally obese, slight case of the EDs, binge eating, anxiety-ridden, CPAP-wearing truck driver. And my bold connection is Trump is going to win by 5 to 10%. At the very least, I'm pretty confident he's going to win the electoral. All right? But it doesn't matter what I say. And my career is not going to vault into any sort of stardom. Oh, he predicted it. Listen, I'm having fun. And if I'm wrong, then everybody's going to, I don't have a whole bunch of everybody's that are going to, you're an idiot, you said the wrong thing, you don't. All right, listen, I'm telling you right now, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just how I feel, based on pragmatism. And the pragmatism, so now that was episode 248. So now let's just move forward to this episode. All right, so Pat wants me to do an election show. So I'm going to do an election show. I still feel that way. I have my moments of doubt, I'll be honest with you. But I still think that Donald J. Trump, the current president since 2016, will continue on, one way or the other. That's a joke. As president in the next 4 years. And he will beat mightily, although I could say the fix is in. And the forces that were at work on that one Tuesday, I know there were some elements that, Liz Warren didn't pull out in time and whatever, all this other stuff. I get all that. But for Joe Biden to go from like 0%, by the way, we know he's lost twice. This is all pragmatism. This is all just stuff that I know. You know it as well. I don't know anything that you don't know. But he's already lost twice, and he's lost badly. Al Gore flipped out from losing to Bush, but he gave it a good fight. It's just those stupid Chads. I mean, it was more than just the Chads, but Al Gore was close. I do believe the country is evenly divided. That would make sense, that the country is evenly divided. Then again, I also believe with the news media in charge, I think that they might make us think that we're way more Democratic than we are Republican. They like to think that. But then again, there are numbers. There are specific numbers of registered voters. So there's that. And I forget the numbers, but I think there's more registered Democratic voters in this country. I could be wrong on that. So I don't want to say things I don't really know. But I'm just going with my own specific pragmatism, my logic. My logic is this, and it was my logic in episode 248. Biden has already lost twice bad. Years ago, when he was younger and sharper, maybe not smarter, but he was sharper in his bitedness. I almost said in his own, small-minded stupidity, but that would be an insult. This show is not an insult show. This show, we try to be respectful of everybody. Everybody is safe here, all right? There's no bias or leniency. I try not to lean to the left or lean to the right. I try to walk forward towards the truth. Joe Biden has already lost huge twice. He was losing incredibly hugely. I know this is not good English, but he was losing so decisively in the primary of this year, last year, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about, the Democratic primary, and then all of a sudden, bammo! That one Tuesday, he rockets to the top, then everybody starts dropping out. That Buttigieg and Warren at the last minute, whatever, and then Sanders finally caves in. Sanders, that poor guy. That should have been your 2016 Democratic candidate, but boy, he got so screwed. Screwed himself by saying, I don't care about Hillary's emails. By the way, the same voice you do for Sanders is the same voice you do for Howard Stern's dad. I don't care. I don't care about her damn emails. Let's move. It's also Jackie Mason. If you could somehow take Jackie Mason, comedian, Howard Stern's father, and whatever, and then Bernie Sanders, and then Larry David, you just somehow pack it all in, you get yourself a Bernie Sanders. Anyway, but when he said that, I don't care about her emails, let's stop talking about her emails, he said it right there on the stage during the debate. I knew, I said it out loud, I said to my wife, I said it to anybody I knew. Election, primary over. Hillary's going to win. Because that was not the moment to concede to Hillary anything. That's why Donald Trump is a winner. Because he doesn't concede. Regardless of how ridiculous he's being, he's not going to concede that. He'll find a way to get around it. He's done it. Apparently Ronald Reagan was the same way too, about how many years ago? His own son referred to him as the Teflon Don. Teflon Ron. That's what he used to call him. He was everything bounced off of Ronald Reagan. And there was a lot of controversy in that presidential era right there. A lot of controversy. Okay. Oh boy, I hope this microphone is working. I feel like it's not working. Oh boy. Anyway, so I can't stop and check the show, but I'm looking at this gauge. I'm looking at it, like, boy, it's staying on the yellow. That must be the background sound, right? Okay, let's just move on. I'm going to take my chances. Just had a nerve-wracking moment that I might have wasted all this golden podcasting for nothing. It doesn't matter. I've done this before. I've had shows I've done before. The app just eats the show and it goes goodbye. Show's gone. Can't get it. Gone. It eats it. Just like the button that didn't show up. Very controversial. Very suspicious. So, he, all of a sudden, so Sanders did that, and we know the story about Donna Brazile getting the questions at the debate and giving it to Hillary. Somehow she got the questions. They screwed him over. He screwed himself. They screwed him. But that there should have been your 2016 Democratic candidate. Would have given Trump a run for his money. Way better than Hillary did. And he also should have been your candidate in this election. But somehow, suspiciously, as far as I'm concerned, Biden goes from zero to hero. Just like that. If I can snap my fingers. They're a little bit dry today. Just like that. Bam. I know. All those things happen, and that's how it happened. Okay, whatever. But he is way older than he's ever been before. This is the oldest he's ever been. That's the joke. This is and for his age, boy, he is in fact, okay, I mean, you've heard all the jokes. Whether he's sleepy or absent-minded or whatever, to enter into this job now, as far as I'm concerned, is suicidal. I think it's a bad idea for him health-wise. And also he has this candidate, his VP candidate, who's the worse than him. I don't think she didn't make it to the first whatever. She was out, like immediately out. You got two people here that have generated Zero enthusiasm. They have generated zero enthusiasm. Yet somehow, here comes Bloomberg, Mayor Dunberg, with $700 million, and he can't beat Biden. There's a weird fix, that's it. It's a very strange fix. And then now after Biden gets the primary nod or whatever, now he's the candidate, and here comes Dunberg, Mayor Dunberg, with yet another $100 million. After he spent $700 million, he had another $100 million to go. He goes, I'm going to give this to the guys in Florida to wipe out their debts and so they can vote. And he doesn't know they're going to vote Democratic. I mean, but it's on the news. It's not like it's a made-up story. It's right there in the for-profit news that somehow we all trust. So then Biden has these rallies. Nobody shows up. Biden barely shows up. People sitting in the cars. There's 20 people. There's a video, at least one, maybe more, where Obama stands in for Biden, because Biden can't be everywhere. It's a lot of steps up from the basement. He gets tired when he gets to the top of the steps. Maybe he has an elevator. I don't know. But as far as I know, he's down in the basement. All right, so I got 3 minutes. I don't think I'm going to do an hour show. I'm going to keep this to a half an hour. So Obama shows up at the rallies, and nobody shows up. 20 people, 200 people. Every time Trump goes somewhere, there's thousands of people. Thousands. So based on those numbers, I think Trump's going to win. Based on the fact that Biden's numbers are incredibly low. And you can't really fake participation. You can't fake that. You can fake the polls. The polls were wrong in 2016. They were wrong. They were way wrong. And I got into my truck election night of 2000. It's funny, here it is again. I'm working election night. When I got into the truck election night 2016, I was fully prepared to hear Hillary won. She's the chosen one. Just like they're trying to make Biden the chosen one. And it's over. Trump is going to lose, like 55 to 45, whatever it is. He'll give a good fight. He really did. I mean, an amazing fight. Well, he won. But I was prepared for that. I think a lot of the country was prepared for that. Then it turns out the numbers were wrong. Not only were they wrong, they were fabricated. They're wrong. Polls are wrong. They were wrong. They're wrong again this year. Biden is not going to be a president. He's so boring. He's so uninspired. He's so old. This is a suicide mission, and the Democrats know that. I think they pulled back Buttigieg. They pulled back Warren. They pulled back anyway, saying, listen, let's throw Biden out there. It doesn't matter when he wins or loses. Trump is going to win no matter what. We can't win. We can't win. Let's pull him back. Let's throw out the sacrificial lamb of Biden. He doesn't care. He was a do-nothing VP. He was a do-nothing government employee for 47 years. Buttigieg, don't worry, Pete. We'll get you something. Don't worry, Liz. We'll get you something. We'll get everybody gets a little piece of the action. Let's just throw out Biden. He's got that money from wherever he got his money from, and we'll give him a free train pass so he can ride the Amtrak all day long. And, after he loses. But we're going to refocus and we'll think about 2020 against, 2024 against Pence. I mean, I know that sounds comical and all that stuff, but I think partially that's part of the conspiracy. That's part of the plan. They know they can't win this one. Trump is doing way too good. He's got too much good going out there in the world. Jobs. I mean, forget about the COVID. Take away the COVID. We're in paradise. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. It's the best I can do. I think it's going to be a 5% or more victory by Donald Trump. And I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at my radio. It's 4:35 p.m. on the New York State Thruway northbound. That's my bold prediction. He'll win for 5% or more. It's definitely going to win the electoral. And this is going to be an interesting 4 years. Oh, and I think all the cities are going to burn. That's the real conversation we should be having. If I was going to do another half hour. Which cities will and will not burn tonight or tomorrow? After the show, excuse me. All right, Pat, thanks for calling in. I hope you were happy with the show. That's the best I can do. I don't have any other way of expressing my feelings and thoughts about tonight's election. It's going to be Trump.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, Godspeed, and great skills. Take care.
Don't forget to vote. Bye.